Has passed a bill to block Biden's student loan debt program. Joining us this morning to discuss that and all the debt limit drama, Executive Vice President of the National Taxpayers Union, Brandon Arnold. Brandon, good morning to you. I like to call this Friday Eve, so happy Friday Eve to you. Just sounds better, right? Yesterday, 2 congressional Democrats did join House Republicans to pass a resolution to block Biden's student loan forgiveness plan. First of all, I want to back up a little bit here because what is the estimate on the cost of that and who was going to pay for it?
Yeah, the cost of this program is about $400 to $500 billion if you just look at the loan forgiveness. But when you combine that with the other things that are taking place in the student loan space, including restructuring of student loan debt, including the ongoing 3 years of payment pauses that we've provided to people that are carrying this debt, then all of a sudden you're talking about $1 trillion roughly in total cost to American taxpayers. $1 trillion, incidentally, that's far more than we spend on our national defense in a given year. That's more than the entire GDP of the country of Switzerland. We're talking about a phenomenally large figure.
Let's talk about how this would lead to higher inflation, as many economists are predicting, and why do you say this would mostly benefit future higher earners?
It is absolutely contributing to inflation. Again, for 3 years, people haven't had to make payments on their student loans. So instead of making those payments, what are they doing with that money? They're pumping that into the economy. They're going out and buying items. They're going to dinner. They're going to vacations. All of those things are increasing consumer spending. And by doing so, they're fueling inflation. That's bad for the economy. And yes, of course, this is benefiting higher income earners more than lower income earners. First of all, you only get the benefit if you've gone to college. But even beyond that, people that are going to medical school, to law school, getting MBAs, these people stand to benefit from this because even if they only have a strong salary in their initial years coming out of school, even if they're only making $100,000, let's say, in a few years, they're going to be making many times that in most circumstances, particularly people that have medical degrees, law degrees, MBAs. So those people are going to be able to take advantage of this program that, of course, is financed by working class Americans.
Also, too, we know the Supreme Court is expected to rule on the constitutionality of the plan anyway in the coming weeks, so we'll have to wait for that as well. But it also comes at a time, Brandon, when borrowing costs are really out of control. We've got, more than $31 trillion in debt. We're running out of time to raise the debt ceiling to pay the bills. We've been down this road many times, it seems, but this does feel a lot differently because of the mounting debt and, of course, inflation. Could we default? How are you feeling about this right now?
Well, I sure hope not, because default would be catastrophic. There's no question about it. We see millions of job losses. We see even higher inflation rates. It would be an economic catastrophe. But of course, the slow burning economic catastrophe is our mounting debt. And as those interest rates have increased, it's become more and more expensive for the federal government to finance our $31 trillion in growing national debt. That problem is only going to worsen and worsen over time. We're already spending about $500 billion a year just on interest payments on our national debt. That is going to start to crowd out other programs like national defense, like healthcare spending, and it's going to necessitate more tax increases. So we're going to see an economic slowdown. It's a whole debt spiral. We need to do something about it immediately.
Speaking of spiral, this is not just an esoteric fight over numbers. What's the future of Social Security and Medicare at this point?
Yeah, those finances are looking very, very shoddy. Unfortunately, Social Security's trust fund is scheduled to be exhausted in about 10 years. And the Medicare trust fund is going to be depleted in closer to 5 years. So if we allow those things to happen, if we take these programs off of the table and don't make smart, rational reforms to these programs on a bipartisan basis, we're going to see reduction in benefits. Social Security benefits could be cut somewhere to the tune of 20 to 30% in 10 years. We don't want to do that to our seniors. We need to reform these programs to strengthen them. To take them off the table, as both Republicans and Democrats have insisted upon, is the height of irresponsibility and a real disservice to our seniors.
Executive Vice President of the National Taxpayers Union, Brandon Arnold, thank you for joining us here on the National Desk. Have a great weekend, my friend.
Thank you. You too.